We were talking, I started to ask the question of the sheriff, and there were so many that came up. I started to ask the question of the sheriff, what would be, accepting, of course, the obvious thing over here in Beeson, the tragedy, what would be his most memorable case that has come up in his time. And we got to counting, and we find out there's been about a total of 10 murders happened on your watch in Logan County. That's kind of, you know, we read about Cook County every day. There's 10 an hour up there, for goodness sake. That's a big thing.
Well, we've had 10 deaths by homicide. You know, we started off, unfortunately, you know, with the Bob case, and we ended up down in Pulaski with the Louis Russo case, then up in San Joe's with Robin Graham. Then we had another shooting of a juvenile here in Logan County, and then we had a gentleman get run over down on the blacktop between Elkhart and Middletown, and then of course we had the Beeson case, and so a lot of things happen. It makes the time go by, unfortunately, but more things go on than what people realize. More serious things go on than what people realize.
Most of us out there have our head in the sand. They're oblivious to the little things that little to us maybe, but they're very big to a law enforcement agency.
Right.
That takes a lot of time.
Right.
And I guess it goes without saying that in a lot of cases there's a lot of forensics involved, that you have to call in forensic experts from around the state. Perhaps, have you ever had to go out somewhere beyond the state for draw in somebody for their opinions?
Well, using the Beeson case, I know the forensics on both sides, as far as the case that the state's presenting and the case that the defense were presenting. You know, a lot of experts that have been involved with that already, you know, are out of state. I mean, the State Police Crime Lab in Springfield handles a large volume of evidence every day, and that's from all of us counties here in central Illinois, and that's not only evidence that we pick up in burglaries and other arrests, but they also have, you know, fingerprinting. It's a large volume that sometimes I think people forget about. And then you have a case like Beeson, where basically we shut their place down there for 7 days and was taking evidence down. You know, it's overwhelming, and for them to have to take on something like that and carry on with their other business as usual, it's a big task.
The day-to-day things, yeah. What about the delineation of duties here? Does the sheriff's office mostly do the unincorporated areas, like in Lincoln, or Mount Pulaski, say, or do you have in Atlanta? Do you have much call to go there, or do their own local people handle calls, basically?
Well, we still handle calls in every area of Logan County. Chief Freer does a good job down in Mount Pulaski. Chief Penny's still up in Atlanta with the police force up there. If they're handling something, need help, and they call, we go and we assist. And if their officers aren't working and there's a call, we go and handle it. You know, so it just depends on who's working and where. But if nobody's working, say down in Pulaski, their officers are off and there's a call for service, we will go handle that. So there's no delineation. It just depends on, you know, the staffing of that certain town at that certain day.
Now, who helps you in regard to running the sheriff's office as it pertains to legalities? Is that up to the state's attorney to help keep you, if you have a question in your mind as to whether my process, that whatever we're doing is going to be okay legally, then you go to, is that your advisory there?
Oh yes, we got the state's attorney number on speed dial on the phone.
I
so
bet.
Yeah, they're our attorney, you know, so they represent, you know, not only the county but us also. So yeah, if we're in a situation and we have a question about what we're about to do, we'll call and ask, or say we're out at night and all of a sudden something's going on, we need a search warrant, we're on the phone with him. He's coordinating it with Judge Harris, and we're going into the courthouse and doing our legal work that way. So, yeah, the state's attorney's office is very important to us.
Is it ever hard for you to bite your tongue sometimes when you need something quickly, and there really isn't any quicker way to do it, because like you were saying, you have to get a hold of the state's attorney, he has to get a hold of the judge, and it has to be done before you take any action. Do you ever think, oh my gosh, I wish everybody'd hurry?
Well, you always wish that, you know, but sometimes haste makes mistakes too. So sometimes it's better to have that moment to think about what you're doing and make the right decision than to get in a hurry and make a bad one.
Yeah, that's what I do. I just go ahead like a bull in a china closet.
Well, that's you and I are, I think, related there, Judy. So, and or I learned it from you over the years. So.
Well, I'm old enough to have taught you that.
You know, so no, like I said, sometimes you wish you could move things along quicker because of time constraints you run into in certain areas. But like I said, for the most part, you know, when we call the state's attorney's office, they're usually right on top of things, and you couldn't ask for anybody better than Judge Harris. So,
yeah, I'm sure you're right about
I'm
that.
happy with that.
Yeah. Has anybody ever compared you with Joe Arpaio, Sheriff?
I hope not.
Well, what do you think of him now after you say that?
He's in the news way too much for me. I like flying under the radar, Judy.
Yeah, you just
know,
run your office efficiently and quietly.
That's what I hope to do, and I'll continue to do, I hope. But no, he's got a lot of different issues out there than what I've got here.
Yeah.
Oh my.
You know, and then being the national spotlight with the immigration and everything, you know, that's a headache I wouldn't want. But sometimes I think too he likes to get in front of the camera and cause his own headaches.
Yeah, just to see how it'll stink.
If I was in Arizona, I'd vote for him, though.
You know, well, I'm not in Arizona, so I don't have to worry about that. Bill, you know,
One decision you
but
don't
no,
have to make.
like I said, I don't look for the limelight, and I'm not going to get in it unless I have to. So.
I was intrigued. I did a little research, and I was intrigued to know that 2 states, Alaska and Connecticut, do not have sheriffs. In fact, they don't have counties. And I never thought of it in regard to of how their breakdown as far as law enforcement is concerned in those. And I didn't know that Connecticut did not have counties. So that's kind of interesting that we have 2 states in of our 57. I believe that's what one of the candidates said. We had 57
states.
Oh, 57?
I believe that's what he said anyway. He learned that in Government 101.
Yeah.
In any event, the staff meetings, you have to have, because you have new things that come along, it's got to be difficult to get, because you've got to have people available. You can't call all your deputies in at a given time to have staff meetings.
Well, we do.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we've done that in the past, and
Yeah.
we'll probably continue to do it in the future.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what issues we're looking at. We send deputies to training all the time, and every year there's a training on new law updates.
Yeah.
And we send people to that, and then they come back and pass that information on to the other deputies. And also we receive flyers every week in the mail on certain updates too. But as far as calling everybody in, yeah, we've done that before.
You know some of the members of my family, and you can imagine that we can have pretty heated discussions about things because everybody has an opinion. Everybody gets one, like
Yep.
elbows. And we've had some heated ones over this concealed carry business. Apparently, we're the only state who doesn't allow that.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you, if you got to vote today, how would you vote on that?
I'd probably vote for it.
Would you?
Concealed
Probably,
carry.
yes.
Now, they said that out in Colorado, after this awfulness, that they've had just a rash of gun sales.
Mm-hmm. They spiked.
Which I think is so interesting because that's what caused the problem.
Well, yes, that caused the problem, but something obviously was going on in that young man's mind
it's tragic.
that wasn't
the
right.
point. That's the point.
If he'd have been within his right mind, would he have done that? Probably not.
But he couldn't have been. He must have been awfully bright. Something happened.
But I'm not going to sit here and say that either way, because that'll be up to his defense, and I'm sure that they're already looking at that. Also, in a situation like that, people that are carrying a firearm legally, with, say, if there was a conceal and carry law, what's your reaction going to be, even in a situation like that? Are you going to have enough wit about you to think about what you're going to do next, or are you going to be like everybody else and hit the floor and protect yourself, protect your loved one, or try to get out? So it's a situation where like all the deputies, myself, I've been around it 40 years now. I'm sort of trained, and it's entrenched in my mind that I'm thinking about something else other than what the normal person is sitting there thinking about.
Right.
Protecting themselves. And you look at the data, numbers can always be made to read what you want them to read. But, as far as the incidents with people and conceal and carry, it's very low. So is it a deterrent? I don't know. Or is it just being in the wrong place at the right time?
Well,
for the
correct me.
sake of argument, let's assume that I'm just a normal person.
Well, that's a big assumption.
I know, it's a leap.
It's your birthday, so we'll assume so.
But if I had a firearm, don't you think the chances would be pretty good that I might shoot myself in the foot, or use it not at all?
I would say you're probably right on that.
Have
you
them
probably
turn
shoot
it on?
yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
So no, and seriously though, Judy, that's what I mean. The incidents are very low, and like I said, and people have to make a split-second decision, and sometimes when you have to think about that split-second decision, that split second's gone.
Right.
The incident's already happened. So then, are you going to be involved? Is the threat level to you high or low? If it's low, I'm saying you're probably just going to be gone. You're not going to throw yourself in the middle of a situation that's not threatening to you. You see that all the time, where something's going on the street with someone else being, robbed or whatever, and people walk by every day and just keep on going,
Which just defies logic.
So it just depends. And like I said, if the data's correct, then the incidents where conceal and carry is involved is very low.
Well, correct me, Sheriff. My thesis on that is that if people want guns, they'll get them.
Oh, yeah.
Notwithstanding any laws that are on the books.
Exactly.
If I want to go get a gun, it may take me a little longer than I want. But
if you want a gun, you'll have one by the end of the day.
Yeah, right.
One way or another.
And so the laws in and of themselves, that's not going to do the job.
I thought we had a 3-day waiting period, and you had to.
Well, there's
fill
other
out a
ways
lot
of getting
papers.
guns.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I
yeah.
forgot about that.
That's outside the law.
I mean, if you're bent on getting a firearm and you're going to use that firearm to do something illegal, you'll do something illegal to get that gun.
Yeah.
You're not going to go about it the normal way.
Does it seem that there are more shootings now? When you watch the news at 5, whether it's the channel from Decatur or Springfield or wherever, or Champaign, it seems that there's one after another of kids, 17, 18, 20 years old, shooting somebody to death.
Right.
And now their life is over, too. For all intents and purposes, they're done just as well. Does it seem like that's accelerating, or do I just think that?
Oh, I think when it happens, it's so outrageous, it makes us think it's more, but it happens more. I think more of our young people are more willing to pull a gun and do something without thinking about the accountability issue at the end of the day. And then after it happens, then we're going, oh, I'm sorry. Well, you should have thought about that beforehand.
Just a little later.
So I think the accountability part sometimes isn't there.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, does that go back to some of our deterrents as far as some of the laws we have? So I don't know there, but It seems like anymore when it happens, it's more outrageous.
Sheriff, before we close, I'd like to ask you, budget notwithstanding, if there was one thing that you would like to have for the Logan County Sheriff's Department, it'd be one particular piece of office equipment or one piece of law enforcement equipment, investigative equipment, what would be your wish if you could have, if you didn't have a budget restraint?
It'd be a long list, Bill.
I'll bet. Yeah,
We could
when
do
I
a
stop
lot of-
think about that, yeah.
A lot of different things, and you'd have to look at the different areas of what you actually need. Even with the constraints that we have, if there's something that we honestly need to get a job done, we usually find a way of getting it. And it's either by making a phone call to Springfield, calling whatever connections I have to see if they have something like that. I mean, it doesn't bother me to drive over to Mason County and borrow a piece of equipment from them, and vice versa. If Wayne needed something in Mason County, I'd do it, or anything like that. Like when I made the phone call to Springfield during the Beeson case. I mean, people came. When you need something that bad, people are come, and they'll show up to help you, and they'll also find a way to get you the equipment you need. But right now, probably for me, the thing that we look at every 3 to 6 years is just squad cars. I wish it was easier to keep that kind of equipment, but it's not, and that's it's always going to be that way. And so that's why I stressed all the guys to take care of what they have. If something breaks, I want to know about it right away so we can fix it before it leads into something else going down on the vehicle or something. So for me, it's probably the availability to maintain our fleet the way it needs to be maintained.
Those miles must pile up pretty quickly on those squad cars.
Well, the car is a good car. I mean, these are as good a cars that I've ever seen. And if you take care of the car, it ought to go 200,000 miles pretty easy. And if we're out there, like I said, maintaining it the proper way and keeping the maintenance on it, then we'll make it, and we'll keep on our cycle. We've been, every 6 years is kind of how we've been trying to bring in new cars. We try to update, our 08s will be next. And so, and we've got it to where it's half of our fleet, so we're not trying to replace 20 cars at once. We're trying to replace 6, 8, 9. And if we can do that, it makes it easier to budget for. And like I said, it's always a strain when it comes to do it, but we've always found a way to get it done.
I think our dads must have gone to school together. They taught us both that if you don't take care of it, you just won't have one.
Exactly. and then they know that's what'll happen. I've done it, and I've seen me do it. So,
Well, in closing, we're not going to come up with a trite closing comment tonight, this morning. I think it would be appropriate, though, Judith, Kay, and Jim, if we just kind of get a little nod of appreciation to the folks in the law enforcement area here in city and county. We've got a bunch of people out here dedicated. Lord knows it's not the highest paying job in town. You've got to really be dedicated to want to do that. And not only that, but you have folks who interact well with the community, and they're respected.
Well, like I said, we've got a newer group. We've got kind of a mixture where, a third of the department are senior people, and they do a great job. And then we've got kind of our mid-group guys, and they're learning and they're picking up. And then we got our new guys that we're always going to be working with. But the one thing I've always said is that the sheriff's office is never going to be perfect, but we're always going to be trying. And we're here for the people of Logan County. I sometimes think that we do forget that we are public servants, that we are here to help you in whatever way possible we can help you, but we are also here to enforce the laws of the state. And as long as we can keep that balance and keep working at what we do, instead of laying down and not doing our job, then we're going to be all right. And like I said, we'll never be perfect, but we'll always be trying.
And on behalf of the citizens of the county, we thank you very much for that and for taking the time to appear with us in Viewpoint. Thank you,
thank
Steve
you guys
Nichols.
as always. Judy, happy birthday, Bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Proud to have you, sir.